Hello. How's it going, chat? Welcome to the stream. John Matrix, thank you for the 50 bits. MG42, congratulations on your first. Al Pennington, congratulations on your first. Dan Highland, congratulations on your first. Earn the Almighty, congratulations on your first. Hello as well to Gibby, Dorky Dempsey, Puffy, Sam Hine, Super Gran Turismo. Ooh. And the Stream Element spot, why not? And Lurkers. How are y'all doing? How was your past couple of days? I hope you had a good Tuesday and Wednesday. Welcome to the stream. I originally had planned to like stream all day today, and instead I was just tired all day. So, we're starting the stream at the normal time. We're gonna go 2 hours longer than usual today. What's up, Liz? So if you're interested in watching the entirety of the stream, I should warn you in advance, I'm gonna be fucking up your sleep schedule. It is a 7-hour stream today. What's up, Saber Viper? Hello, Marmot. Space Hopper Copter, hello. I think you should go to sleep disrespectfully. Ooh. Just flip everything, trash the place, and go to bed. Obstreperous slumber. But I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're excited for some video games. I don't really have much to add. My time not streaming was pretty productive, but I mostly was just kind of getting stuff done that needed to get done. Space Hopper Copter.
Wait, don't get gaming.
I haven't seen that alert in a long time. Thank you for the 16-month sub, Space Opera Copter. It's too hot to get stuff done. It got really, I don't want to say cold, because it didn't, but like, over the course of, I think, maybe an hour and a half, it dropped to 20 degrees here. We've been getting crazy winds for the past, like, 2 days. It was supposed to rain, but I guess the system passed through, but the rain was, I don't know, the wind was nuts. It was like 60-mile-an-hour wind. You ever go outside and it's so windy that it kind of hurts to breathe? Like, you can't, like, pull air in because the air around you is moving too fast? That's how windy it was yesterday. Got your modded 360 in. Very nice, Dan Highland. So it went from being like 98, 99 to like 76 in less than 2 hours. It was crazy. And it's still windy. I can still hear it, but I think that's the end of the weird weather. Car Lover, congratulations on your first. Hello, everybody. We're gonna need the blue square tonight. Blue square, come forth. Hi, everybody. Hello. Gorgeous weather, you got quality family time and a chicken fried steak. Sounds like you're doing pretty good for yourself, Marmot. Sounds like everything's coming up, Marmot. We're going to be playing some NFL quarterback club tonight. We tried to stream it on Monday, but chat was blowing through their channel point surplus. So instead we just did no misses all night long. I am still in let the computer play against itself mode on this game. So that's what we're going to do. At first, at least. Probably until we get to the playoffs. Still have 90k channel points. I don't know where you people get all these channel points from. It's not like I give them away. That's good though. That's good. You never know when you're gonna need them. I need to make a redemption where for like 500,000 channel points you can have this honey mustard packet. I think that's what I gotta do. That'll entice the people. Yeah, you can get a honey mustard packet. There you go. I gotta figure out something I need to do. I need to add a couple more channel point rewards at some point this summer. I don't know. We'll figure it out. I got a couple slots at the moment that I could add some things with. Yeah, she's watching me right now. She's just standing off camera, just staring at me. Summer points. See, now that I said that, she's probably getting up from her chair so that she can walk over here and stare at me from off camera. Yeah. We're coming into the final third of June. month is approaching its eventual end. There's a couple more things I'd like to get done before the month is over. We'll see if we have time for them or not. Some gaming challenges and surprises. Hello, Dino. Sports. Give me the sports. I gotta get them. You slept for 12 hours? You're always talking about getting 8 hours of sleep. It sounds like you are overachieving, Dino. You reached for the stars and you touched the sun. I know. I agree, Saber Viper. But that, you know what? That's okay. We can still do lots of fun stuff. Maybe we'll do a little more achievement hunting before the month is out. You never know. You can't know. It's not possible to know. Scientists have tried for centuries to know, but it can't be done. Alright, let's play some Feud Ball. Hello, personal play paradigms. Where's my timer at? Ooh. Close. Exit. 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 I just found a bunch of shit running in my tray that I don't want running. It's exciting. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Let me check the tape real quick here before we get started. I just want to make sure that my timer is correct. Okay. 16 hours, 29 minutes, 4 seconds. Much football has been played, and much football remains to be played. There's many things to do. Resume season. Week 16. We're almost into the playoffs. We got, what, 2 more games? Yeah, 2 more games. We're gonna let the computer take care of this. So, chat, tell me, what's good? What do you know, chat? Tell me what you know. Let's hang out, shall we? How far ahead am I? I think I'm like 2 or 3 games ahead in the division. Conference, I don't really care about. I don't really care about the division. But I'm probably ahead in the conference, too. Milkshakes are good? I agree. I like milkshakes. I don't like how everyone keeps putting whipped cream on milkshakes these days, though. It's not necessary. You don't need it. Manu means bird in Maori. Okay, that's good to know. That's good facts. Manu also means crazy cat in Asia? Just all of Asia? Every Asian country agrees. Manu means crazy cat. Shakia, congratulations on your first. I need to come up with some more emote ideas, too. I've been pretty strongly motivated the past couple weeks. I've gotten a lot of stuff done that I normally would have put off. So I gotta keep that. If I can keep that pace up without burning myself out, we can get many good things done. I still have, let's see here. Boop, 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 boop. I still have 7 animated emote slots for tier 1. 4 tier 2 slots, 5 tier 2 animated, 4 tier 3 slots, 5 tier 3 animated, and 5-bit emotes to do, and 3 cheer emotes to do. So there's still a lot of work that needs to be done. Don't do the arrive. Is it like a personal pet peeve, Dorky? Do you not like the arrive emotes? What's up, sports ballas?
Red 20.
Look, they gave us way too... I'm going to be completely honest. Twitch gave streamers way too many animated emote slots when they doubled everything. And ideas are hard, and that's why I've been sitting on these slots for, like, years now. With nothing in them. Because it is really tough, for me at least, to come up with an idea. But I promise to consider quality over quantity. Like, once all my slots are full, I'm gonna start keeping an eye regularly on, like, what isn't getting used and cycling it out. If people are just, like, straight up not using an emote at all, then I can take that slot and put something else in it. But that's for mega future, when I have all my slots filled, including tier 2 and tier 3. Tier 3 emotes are going to be a long way in the future, sports balls, because you are the only person who has tier 3. Oh, apparently I'm dropping mad frames. I am dropping big frames. Neat. Interception? Yeah, I blame the wind. I do blame the wind. Hopefully that was just a one little blurp. If it was more than a blurp, we'll play it by ear.
Black 51.
Yeah, you're the only tier 3. I mean, aside from like me and Earn, but we don't pay for our tier 3s, so like, you know, you're the only like voluntary tier 3, which I appreciate, but it does mean that, you know, boop, boop. Not to mention like subscriber badges and shit. Where can you park all that ass? At your nearest Taco Cabana 24-hour Mexican restaurant, Shadrock. Yeah, I have 1 tier 3 sub and 2 tier 2 subs. Everyone else is a tier 1 sub. So it's just like, those emote slots are probably going to be some of the last to get filled. I already know what I want to do with my tier 2 slots. I have no idea what to do for tier 3. Like, I don't know, like, what constitutes it. What is a tier 3 sub emote? I don't even know. It doesn't make sense to me.
Blue 42.
Thank you for the gigantic lumpy Shadrock.
First down.
Adam tuned in. Hello. Whoosh.
Set.
Whoosh.
Red. 20. Hut.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, we're getting close to, what? Let me do some math real quick here. 35% done? A third done? It's pretty good. 1 in 3 32X games complete. That's pretty good. They're a lot faster than N64 games, generally speaking. So that helps. That helps a lot.
Green. 42. Hut.
I'll be making my schedule for next month sometime this weekend, so I'll know. I'll know if and when there'll be lots more 32X or how much N64 we're doing next month. I'll let you know when I know.
Blue.
But I'll be figuring that out
42.
sometime this weekend.
Hut.
Tempo? No, I have not done Tempo. Tempo is going to get put off for a very long time. I can't put it off forever, but I will be putting it off as much as I can, probably. That is one that demands delaying. What's up, Tex?
Set.
Kick the ball. Oh, it's a fake! Yeah, let's go! The fake field goal got him. Sheriff Ram. Thank you for the 13-month sub.
Radon gems, radon gems, radon gems.
Poor Servbot is afraid of David Byrne. Thank you, Sheriff Ram, for the 13-month sub.
It's good.
It's good. Yay. I actually, because the sample size is so much smaller, and I'm not going to give any clues away, but I made an order of what, like, with the N64, I'm very much like, what am I in the mood for? The moment that I finish a game, what am I in the mood for following that game? With the 32X, I've actually planned it out. I've actually planned out, like, what I want to do in what order. So I kind of have an idea of when games are going to be appearing on the 32X versus the N64. But we gotta finish Mahjong. We gotta do other things. We gotta finish Robot Alchemic Drive. We got that going right now. We got Aerobiz going. Gonna have to finish that. What else? I think that's the main things that we have, like, up in the air right now. Like, I've got a lot of stuff planned, obviously, but those are the ones that I've already put time into that need to be finished before we can embark on other types of game. But it's been good. It's been good. I'm excited. A lot of cool games on the horizon I'm excited to play. Can't wait to share it with all of you. Oh, thank you, Adam. I appreciate it. There are lots of incredible dance emotes all over the website. I'm happy that people like the few that I have supplied. 40 can with the gigantic Wumpy as well. Thank you, 40 can. I still can't believe that's official in-game Wario art. Like, I would not have made that emote if it was just like someone made that GIF and put it on Tumblr or something. The fact that that is from a Nintendo game, I'm just like,
Black,
Okay.
33.
I guess I'll just use that as an emote.
Hut.
Speaking of Nintendo, the Nintendo Direct happened while I was away. And goddamn is about all I can say. Like, shit. I am excited for the next year of Switch games. It's a canonical caboose, yeah. What's new? Well, they've got a new Mario and Luigi game coming out. They've got a new Mario Party coming out. They've got... They showed Metroid Prime 4. Like, they actually showed in-game footage. They showed... What else did they show? They showed Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D and confirmed that Dragon Quest 1 and 2 is also getting an HD 2D. They showed a new Zelda game where you play as Zelda that's in the art style of the Switch Link's Awakening. They showed a 3D remake of Romancing Saga 2, which I'm just like, alright, fucking hell yeah, let's go, let's do it. Like, they just released the English version of Romancing Saga 2, like, what, a year or two ago? And now they're like, fuck it, full redo, 3D mode. That's exciting.
Blue, 42.
Yeah, Marvel vs. Capcom collection, including MVC2. It's got a lot of RPGs on it. It does. I wouldn't say it's just a big RPG console, but if you like JRPGs, it's definitely one of the systems you're going to want to have, probably alongside... I mean, at this point, Steam or a PS5. Both good. It's got the Punisher beat 'em up on it, too. Yeah, yeah.
Blue, 42.
She's looking at me. She's watching me.
Hut.
Okay. They're safe.
First down.
Base hole...
Hot gas.
Fart gas. Hi, Basil. Thank you for the 35 months of fart gas.
Green,
Hope you're doing well.
42. Hut.
So yeah, it was just like, I didn't really have a lot of expectations. I mean, they showed a lot more stuff too. They showed like a Disney co-op platformer, and they showed Lego Horizon Zero Dawn is weirdly getting a Switch release. Games that are getting added to the Switch Online service. They're adding Turok 1 and Perfect Dark, which I'm excited for, because having like original N64 Perfect Dark with online multiplayer is very cool to me. Although the 360 version is just better, it's cool that the N64 version is going to have it as well. A couple Game Boy Advance games. They announced they were adding Four Swords and Metroid Zero Mission. Both not very surprising, but we kind of, when we did that stream a few weeks ago, I was kind of talking about like what's missing from each of the Switch services. I definitely pointed those two games out as like, those are going to get released, and there they go. Yeah, online Four Swords might be pretty fun. Lego Horizon Zero Dawn base hole. Four Swords 99. That's 396 swords, John Matrix.
Blue, 42. Hut.
I have a couple tricks up the old brain, up the old mind meat. So yeah, I was satisfied. I have things to look forward to. New Monkey Ball game should be here for me on the Switch in like a week and a half. So I'll get to pre-order a new game.
23.
And I've got some choices to make, which is always a good position to be in. I'm leaning towards Decapolice, but I don't know. They haven't shown Decapolice in a few months, and I don't know if it's still supposed to come out in like November or whatever. Yeah, new Monkey Ball comes out on July 1st, I think.
Set. Black 33.
Black 33. Yeah, I wasn't paying too much attention to the Dempa Man stuff, but Ash Said Hi said that game was really good. And I don't think I really knew much about it prior to that announcement.
Set.
I don't even know what that is. I've never heard of that. But I don't think I'm your average
Touchdown.
Twitchoverse user. Oh, that's the Elden Ring DLC? Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I'm not. I'm excited that everyone else is going to have a good time with that. I'm not looking forward to the uptick in number of Elden Ring streams that are going to happen as a result. But that's me. I'm not going to be selfish about it. I'm not going to tell people not to play it.
It's good.
I'm the number one. Yeah, there's two things that I love. It's fucking Dark Souls and George R.R. Martin. Woohoo! Love that shit. Hook it up to my veins. It's debatable how much input he had, but he was involved in the establishment of like the world. Like he did contribute to the sort of foundation of what Elden Ring is. I mean, he does good stuff. The reason that like Meow Wolf existed in the first place is because of him, and that's like a huge attraction for people. You know, I don't dislike the guy. I'm not like fucking. I hope he chokes on his walnuts, but like, I'm not a big high fantasy novel person. He didn't like do it, but he put up the money. He basically funded it. Meow Wolf started out as like an art collective. He basically put down the money for a bunch of artists in the region to buy an old bowling alley and just do whatever the fuck they wanted inside of it. And that's how it got started.
Timeout.
There's like 4 different Meow Wolves now apparently, and they're all different. There's a bunch of different locations throughout like the south and southwest and west, and each of them have different content. I have a friend who's going to all of them. So there's like one in Texas now, and there's one in New Mexico, and there's one in, I want to say like Washington, but I'm not sure, and I forget where the 4th one is. But yeah. Yeah, it's like he seems like a really upright, like cool dude, honestly. Vegas, yeah. There's one in Denver. Alright, well that's a free touchdown for them.
Touchdown.
I'll even admit, like I watched I've read the first Song of Fire and Ice book, and it was mostly pretty good. It was like 80% good. But yeah, I just don't. It's not my scene. It's not my favorite type of fiction. Exquisite medieval meal. What's up, Osimo?
It's good.
Autobiographies, but they are clearly lying. That is a good. That is very good. Currently, the Lions are winning. Yes. Yes, we're up 14-7 right now. It's almost halftime though. Probably won't score again before half.
Black 51.
But I'm not playing at the moment. I'm letting the computer run the show, which is why they're not winning like 62-13. Because the computer, in its infinite wisdom, does not seem to realize that Barry Sanders is on the team, which, you know, is a simple mistake to make.
Dead. Black 51. Hut. Ow.
Idiots. What does the rest of my shirt say? It says, yeah, that makes sense. Oh, that was a raccoon.
Halftime.
I didn't update the sub count. Whoops. There we go. And we are kicking away in the second half, so the Vikings are going to get another possession. That's Buns. Peep, peep. The Detroit Lions. Weirdly, YouTube started suggesting to me, like, housing scams in Detroit today. I was just, like, brain off, like, scrolling through videos, and it was like, hey, do you want to know what kind of scams people are running with housing in Detroit? I guess, sure.
One time, I was hanging out in a 700-man's long line waiting for the arrival of Ger Martin, when one nerd in front of me turned around and asked me which house I was. House Stark? I said. House Targaryen, shouted another nerd behind me. Daenerys is going to save Westeros. The nerd in front of me said. At which point, George R.R. Martin burst through belly first out the wall right in front of me and made me scream, and he yelped too. Oh, you scary one-sided doors.
Thank you for the 50 Westeroses, John Matrix. That kind of stuff is how I feel when I am like talking about how the Lions are doing, and people are like, "Oh, sports ball." That's just the other side of that coin, is how I feel about that whole interaction right there, John Matrix. Thank you for the 50 bits. Ger Martin,
White
yeah.
51. Hut.
All right. Cool. Good job.
Touchdown.
Great defense. Way to go, team. That's how you feel. I mean, we're all unique individuals, and we have our own likes and dislikes. Right? That's what makes this whole experience so worthwhile and valuable. As long as we, you know,
Dead.
don't take things personally, or try not to. Don't do the old alien hominid attacks. Whoopie whoop boop boo. Whoopie doobie whoopie whoop whoop woo. Alright. Let's take the lead again, please, team. Thank you.
Set. Blue, 20, hut.
What else? You know, I think a lot of people feel that way, and I think it's common. I think it's a common sentiment. I think a lot of people are just like, you know,
Blue, 23.
yeah, games come out constantly these days. There's an absolute just glutton of or glut of choice. I like the system that I have going because it allows me to get excited for what's on the horizon, but I don't feel like overwhelmed. I get to be very selective, but I still get to maintain some degree of excitement. And I'm sure you do too, right? I'm sure there's stuff like Elden Ring DLC or whatever that you're like just fucking chomping at the bit for.
White, 51.
Hades 2 is a good example. Yeah.
Hut. Incomplete.
Hades nuts. I mean, there's a lot of time. I'll be honest, like, if it were up to me, I'd probably have way more games on pre-order than just one, but it keeps things in scope. Having a self-imposed restriction allows me to
Black, 51.
really have to put some thought into, like, what am I for sure going to pick up day one? And then, like, once that's locked in, I sit on my hands until that game comes out. So if I want to get more games, then I want to pre-order stuff that's, like, about to come out. And if I'm just like, you know, nothing's really sticking out, I can put something on pre-order that's, like, 8 months out and not worry about it for the better part of a year.
Set.
I'm not saying it's the right way. I'm not saying that it's for everybody,
Green,
but
42.
since instituting the system for myself, I have felt renewed excitement for new games without feeling like I have a responsibility to keep up with everything that's coming out or anything. Because my tastes are, they're not obscure, but they're not very mainstream with what's, like, popular right now. They're not, you know, the stuff that everyone's, like, downloading 10 million copies of the day it comes out. At best, I'm usually like, that looks like it could be fun. And I'm not like, oh, fucking baby, here we go. So, Monkey Ball, Banana, whatever, the Banana Rumble, I think, is what's on pre-order right now, Basil. UFO 50 does look, is it 40 or 50? It does look interesting. I don't know if it's something that I'm going to get into just because I worry that there's going to be, like, a handful of games in that compilation that I'm going to really like that are going to be over way too soon. And the rest, I'm just going to be like, I don't know.
Green,
But
20.
I don't know. It's, I don't know enough about it to make a decision one way or the other. It does look cool. It's a cool idea. Yeah, Dan Highland. That is a common thing. And that is a very common thing. And I understand, right? There is a window that if you are trying to get selected by the algorithm, there is a time and a place for new hot off the presses content, but, like, I've been doing this for so long and I know that if I were just, I'm going to throw an example out there, right? If I started playing Black Ops 6 when it came out, and I started streaming it, like, every day for a week to try and, like, cash in, or maybe a more channel appropriate selection would be something like Garo 2. If Garo 2 came out and I was like, I'm going to stream it for like 3 weeks straight, first 3 weeks of release, streaming it 5-6 hours a day, really trying to get good, really trying to get high in the ranks and get noticed, I would get an influx of new viewers. I'd have a lot of people coming in and checking the stream out. But when I was done with that and I wanted to go back to, not even necessarily go back, once I was ready to start playing other things, 90 to 95% of those viewers probably wouldn't come back. If I'm focusing on,
White 51.
because it happens already. Like if I'm playing a game on the N64 that people want to look at and they find the stream and they might hang out during that game and then I might not see them again. They might follow, but I might not see them again until I start playing another game that that person is interested in. Like some people use this platform as a means to watch games that they want to see. That's like specific, whoever's playing, you know, one of their favorite games, they'll go watch. If I take that same energy and I just focus it on doing what I like to do the way I like to do it, I will still pull those people in one at a time here and there, and some of them might stick around because they like the vibe, and some of them might be just waiting for me to play a game that they're interested in. But like, because that's the case, the only real benefit to me chasing a new release is casting a wider net of attraction, right? It would help the channel grow. It would. But at the cost of me spending more money on new games, me playing stuff that I might not be as enthused to play as other things that I already have access to, me having to maybe tough out playing something that I'm not super interested in, and, you know, none of that, it doesn't seem like a trade that I'm willing to invest in. It's just not something that I want to chase. Even though it would have a tangible benefit,
23.
it's the same thing that I'm already doing, just on a larger scale. So I can just bypass all that stress and, you know, pick up a follower here and a follower there whenever I'm streaming, hopefully, and see who sticks around and who becomes a part of the community. What's up, Evie Pear? What's up, Scuddy?
Set. Red 20. Hut.
Is too damn hot. It's going to start being too damn hot again. We've had 2 days of reprieve here. I think tomorrow we're getting back into too damn hot territory. Oh, maybe not. Okay, this system's going to stick around, so it won't be above 95 again until Sunday. That's pretty sweet. Yesterday you said you'd call Sears Schema.
Set.
I think I had another point to make about all that, but like, at the end of the day, it's just, you know, if I really wanted to play a game that was new, I would. But I don't feel like I have to. I don't feel like I have a responsibility to this business to play whatever's new and hot. I mean, even if 50% of my chat was like, "You gonna get this new game? Oh, it looks so good. We're all excited." I'd be like, "That's cool. If I feel like streaming it, I would, and if I don't, I don't." You know.
Green 42.
Another scorcher. I am not going to get the new Elden Ring DLC. I don't even have Elden Ring. I have never once considered purchasing Elden Ring. I happen to own, I think, most of the Souls games, like the official ones, and quite a few of the Souls-likes, but I am not a fan of that genre of game. It does not interest me very much. So I sit on the sidelines for all that stuff.
Third quarter.
Thank you, Dan Highland. I hope that when the inspiration is at its peak, that you get to where you want to be. I also think that some people like feel like they have to stream, right? There's a sort of invisible pressure that some people feel like they gotta stream too, and like if it doesn't work for you, if it just doesn't click or doesn't feel right, then you don't gotta stress it. If you're like chomping at the bit though, and you just want to do it because it's fun, or maybe you have another goal in mind, I hope you get there. I really like seeing what other people do with their streams, especially if I know them already. I'm always very curious to see what people end up doing.
Set. Black 33.
Around 95. Ugh. We had our one of our breakers popped the other day, completely oblivious. Like it was just our garage. The breaker flipped, and we didn't know until Ern tried to leave in the morning. And she was like, "The garage door isn't opening." I was like, weird."
Set.
0. Oh my gosh. It's the birds. Oh, the bronze prize. You get a 10% discount on the Steam Key slot machine. We'll drop it down to 22,500 DJ points if you want a random Steam game tonight. We also got a streamer beverage unlocked. Thank you for the 10-month Sub-Zero.
Set.
Yeah, the only real, like, unless I'm feeling super invested and energized in the production side of things, the only thought I give to streaming when I'm not streaming is trying to figure out what games I'm excited to play. I spend a lot of time planning out what I want to play on stream, and it takes me so long to get through games that I'm like, massively behind on getting to this stuff, because I have like
Green 42.
14 larger scale projects that I want to do, and then each of those projects is subdivided into huge warehouse of game. But that's easy dopamine for me. It's just be like, oh, I want to stream this, and I want to play that, and I want to go through this, and that's it. That's it. When it comes to like, oh, I should add a new thing to the layout, or I should make alerts, unless I have that like just itch to do it and like make incremental progress, I never want to. I'd rather be doing something else all the time. Like if I came into a large sum of money, I would probably hire an editor for like a couple of years to just handle all that shit for me, because I just don't want to do it. I know it should be done. I know like good things could come of me doing it. I don't want to do it. What's up, top boss?
Set. Blue 42.
It's a close game. Well enough that we're not playing. The computer is playing for us right now. We're almost into the playoffs. We have one more game after this, then it's playoff season. I was actually looking at a VOD of mine from 9 years ago, earlier tonight, about a couple hours ago, and yeah, I've done some sweeping changes over the years, and probably for the better for the most part, but it's rare that I really go all out and want to overhaul things. I think he's torching me, but they don't have player names in this game, so I haven't been paying super close attention.
51.
There's no stat tracking and there's no player names, so he's probably kicking ass. I think he's number 80, right? I think Chris Carter was number 80. Yep, it's true. I did main rows. And if I ever play Ultra Street Fighter 4 again, that's who I'm picking. That is my character in that game.
Set.
I uploaded so many fights from USF4 directly from the game to YouTube when they added that feature. If you go deep in my YouTube channel, you'll see a bunch of direct capture Ultra Street Fighter 4 ranked matches. Play Rolento. I once lost to a Rolento who was just macroing, mashing all three punch buttons, and I just couldn't adapt. I couldn't figure out how to stop someone who was completely unconcerned with playing the guy. And that's like one of my biggest weaknesses in fighting games is like if someone is just playing a meta game that is not sort of actively participating, it often takes me too long to adapt. Like the more flowcharty a person is to where their brain is off all the way, I have a harder time beating that person than I do someone who's like maybe a little better than I am.
320. First down.
But I remember turning the inputs on and just seeing that they were just mashing all three punch buttons, and I couldn't stop it. Just rolling all over the place. Makoto was fun. I liked Makoto. I enjoy play. There was a good period of time where I was playing her pretty exclusively in Third Strike. I just think she's very fun to play. She's got a character archetype that I enjoy. I don't like playing pure grapplers, but I do like playing grappler hybrids. Like I think Abel, speaking of Street Fighter 4 characters, I think Abel was just incredibly fun to play. I liked his gameplay style. I wasn't great at it, but I really, really liked what he's about. Makoto's kind of similar. Just kind of using strikes to set up command grabs, to set up confirms. Are we going to frickin' overtime? We better not. You better get this 3rd and 18. Computer. I have been committing to those types of... Like, you know what's been interesting, Scuddy, is when I quit a game but I still want to play it. Like, when I'm kind of done thinking about, oh, I'm going to, like, pick this character, I'm going to learn combos, I'm going to get better and stronger, then I will... I've been playing Ken in Street Fighter V. I've been playing Akuma in Third Strike. Sting X2, thank you for the raid. How's it going, Sting? And Sting viewers. Let's shout out Sting. Get that coin. Working on some retro achievements tonight. What were you playing?
Overtime.
Going to overtime. Kirby Superstar mostly. Nice. Very nice. If I had gotten the energy to stream earlier today, like I was originally planning on streaming kind of all day today, like literally all day. And then I was like, I have therapy in the afternoon. I'll do it after therapy. And then after therapy, I was like, I'm tired. I don't want to stream right now. I'll take a nap and then I'll do stream. And then I slept. And then I was like, I need to eat. By the time I was done, it was like 8:15. And I was like, I'll just start at the normal time. But had I started earlier, I would have done Chivos today. But I hope they went well. I hope you got your gamer score nice and fat. But yeah, I've realized that when I like still want to play a game, but I no longer want to do anything but like what my fundamentals are capable of, I find Shoto. I find a Shoto and I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna get on this like decision tree grind and hope that it pays off. And anytime I run into someone who has like deep character knowledge and like combo confirms, I crumble. But it's still fun. It's still fun. I enjoy playing Shotos in that, just like making good decisions. That's my favorite, like, kind of feeling. So love to, when I played Ultra 4 a lot, the guy in my local group who gave me the most trouble was a Guile main, and I was playing Rose, and like all of our matches went to timeout. It was like just every round was this 99-second grueling like tug of war for the smallest amounts of damage. And it was so like it was so fun to me. I feel like everyone watching was like, this is so goddamn boring, but the two of us were just like geeking out like, oh my god, you landed a medium punch. Favorite broken top tier character I like to play in any game. I'm gonna tweak that a little bit to say that I kind of would need to play them in a way that their top tierness impacts the match. Because like sometimes I like Steve Fox in Tekken. I don't know how the fuck to play him. Like I am flailing my little boxing gloves around hoping for something. But I do like Killick. I like Lion. Lion is very high tier. He's never top tier, but he's very high tier. Who else do I play? Rose in Ultra 4. I picked her because she was top tier.
Black 33.
Morrigan in Ultimate Marvel 3. Yeah, Rose was like top 10 for the entirety of Ultra 4, I think. She was like top 3 for a little bit. My final Ultimate Marvel team was Spencer, Morgan, Strider. That was the team I settled on. I tried a couple permutations of that, and that was the team that I settled on. Eventually, like, Elena was not top tier. Well, I mean, like, players didn't realize she was top tier until very late in Ultra's short lifespan.
Black 51.
You play Young in Fists of Fire. I'm trying to think, like, what other games do I just sort of accidentally play top tier in? Because I don't pick characters because they're tier. I pick them because I want to play them. I feel like with Morgan and Rose, I kind of picked them because they were top tier, but that was when I was, like, my sweatiest at fighting games, too, at the same time. And Bob and Slim Bob in Tag 2, same thing. Bob in Tekken 6, same thing. That era of fighting games where I was like going to tournaments every couple months and like trying to lab and win, I was kind of sweaty, but I wouldn't just pick, like, I had no interest in picking a character because they were the best. They still had to kind of click with me a little bit. Like, I have never in my life wanted to play Zero or Dante or Virgil, especially Virgil. Just get that shit out. I don't want it. I don't want to play him. I want to play against him. But I was definitely like trying to make, you know, character choices that would give me at least a better chance at success, rather than doing what I was doing in like Marvel 2, where my team is Guile, Silver Samurai, Zangief, you know. You know, like, that is an argument that I have gotten into a million times, Dorky, and, like, so I'm hesitant to tread into those waters again. But the sort of general concept behind a tier list is to say that all things being equal, you know, this person gives you the best chance of winning. It doesn't mean they're going to win all the time. It doesn't even mean they're going to win most of the time. But it means that if you were... like, really, if you cloned the same dude 1,000 times at the same skill level 1,000 times and had them pick a character out of a hat, like, who would win, you know? But sometimes when I talk about tier lists, people are like, no, there's no bearing on it. Like, it means nothing. Like, some people are like, it means everything. And it's like... It's not an argument that I'm interested in having. But I agree that you can absolutely pick whatever character you want and put in the work and get results. You know, if you have a deep, thorough understanding of any game, you can make whatever character you want to work. Except for cases like Mars Torius or, you know, what is it? Like Super Street Fighter 2 Dhalsim. Like characters with 0, 10... Because that's the other thing, is that, like, there's two ways of looking at a tier list. One is of looking at it in a vacuum, where it's like, okay, you know, these characters are strong, generally speaking. These characters are not so strong, generally speaking. When you get into a tournament setting where there's gamesmanship involved, and it's not just, this is my favorite character, let's play against your favorite character. Like, if you know a character has a 10-0 matchup, or even like an 8-2 matchup, you can learn how to counterpick that character and fuck them up. You know? Like, that's a liability. So, in a tournament environment, tier lists do kind of mean... Tier lists in themselves don't mean anything, but like matchup data does. And a lot of tier lists these days are built on matchup data. At least the Japanese ones have always kind of been that way. And a lot of the modern ones are as well. So yeah. It's a different beast when you're trying to, like, okay, this dude is playing this character. This character is weak against that character. I know how to exploit that weakness. So, but rarely, like 10-0 matchups are very rare. Most games, you're not likely to see anything lower than like a 7-3 in modern times. There are exceptions, but like, you know, that's kind of... that's the state of balance for the most part. And so, like, that means that if you're really good, yeah, you can win enough games mathematically to ignore the matchup. To, you know, you'd only need to win 2 usually. And if this character wins statistically 3 out of 10 times, we'll just get those 2 right away, and you're good. You can move on. I don't know shit about Smash tier lists. I kind of know what they look like. I know the sort of general order, but like, I don't know where that... I assume it comes from all the same type... I assume that it comes from all the same type of, like, studying and match history and things like that. And then sometimes I see an article online and it's like, oh, well, Marth has a up-tilt Scumpy. And I'm like, oh, that makes... yeah, if he's got an up-tilt Scumpy, he's got to be high tier, right? I don't know what that means, but yeah, it sounds good. You got a Scumpy.
Green, 20.
It's fun. I've been really slowly getting back into fighting games again. And I think it's kind of the same thing with like me and new releases. NeuroGabu with the 33 months. Driving that sub right across the finish line.
It's time for some Thursday night football.
Thank you, NeuroGabu, for the Thursday night football, the worst night of football. It's just the worst games always on Thursday night. Yeah, lack of knowledge. I mean, that's what usually gets me. It's fine. I'm cool with it.
Green, 42.
It always feels bad, but it also feels extra good when I win on just fundamentals.
Incomplete.
Thank you for that sub, NeuroGabu. I've been thinking about KOF. I've been playing poverty modern fighting games. I want to play Tekken 8, Street Fighter 6, and KOF 15, right? I have none of those games currently. And I don't have a real want to buy them right now. So I've been playing Street Fighter 5, Tekken 7, and KOF 14. KOF 14 is the only one I cannot get a game in online. There are no players. I have tried all hours of the day, all days of the week, just random here and there. I cannot get a match. There is nobody playing that game. So, the drive is there for me to at least dabble in it, and I can't. I can't. It's fine. No, I haven't watched fighting games competitively in probably 3 years, Scuddy. I am completely divorced from that. I might catch an Evo day 3 or something like that, and that's about as much as I've been watching. Just learn your... I mean, that's the fun part. The fun part is learning your main. Learning aspects of a character you have no interest in just so you can fight them better is it's good practice, but it's not as fun as getting a cool new combo going or anything like that. I think I'm probably not going to end up picking up KOF 15 though, because I've never been good at KOF. Never in my life have I been good at KOF. I like the characters, but yeah, I've never been even remotely close to competent or even fully understanding what I'm doing. So I think I'm probably gonna skip it and just get Garo 2 instead. Which I also have never been that good at Fatal Fury, but it's more interesting to me than KOF. Unless it's a crazy ass... If it's a wild... Either a tag type, super nuts KOF 11, or a KOF with just a completely unhinged character roster full of weirdos, then I can get behind that. But if it's just kind of your average KOF game, I'm probably not going to succeed or want to put a lot of time in.
Green, 20.
And I don't think I'm ever gonna go back to going to tournaments. If there were good locals, I might think about going to my locals. And there might be. There probably aren't where I live, but there might be. But yeah. So I'm not gonna invest that much either, I think. I'm treating fighting games kind of the way I treat all my competitive online games right now, which is like I'm not gonna practice, but if I do good, it feels good. I'm gonna like lock in a little bit and try my best, and when that's good enough, then I'm gonna be proud of myself. And when it's not good enough, I'm gonna go, well, yeah, that person is like practicing this game; they deserve to win. And then my mental health is usually completely ironclad, and I can just have a good time. It's a Bear Mountain. Yeah, I can understand that. I mean, especially if you've been in the scene a long time. I get it.
Set. Green 42. Hut. Back.
But I try to actively. I always try to gut check anytime I'm like, you know.
Set.
No, the kids must be wrong.
Green.
You know, any opinion I have to be like, wait a minute, like, is this because I'm upset about it, or is it because I don't see myself in it anymore? And like, is it relevant to me? You know? And if it is, then yeah, invest that energy and be upset about it. That's my flow chart. That's me on the flow chart. Does this matter enough to me to get upset about it? Yes. Okay, get upset about it. No. All right, let it go. It's someone else to get. It's someone else's battle to fight. I'm gonna speed the clock up because we have the ball and we have a 2-score lead right now.
Set. Hut. Incomplete.
Yeah,
Set.
I also don't think that those problems are unique. I mean, like it's one way to look at it to go like the FGC should be better about protecting its community from rising costs and that sort of and affordability. And I think it's equally valid to go like everything costs too much right now. It costs too much to put on. It costs too much to attend. And it's not limited to fighting game tournaments. It's, you know, concerts and fucking going to the movies and going out to eat and like, yeah, everything costs too much right now. And it sucks that people, I think in some cases, mistakenly feel held hostage by that model because they're like, well, if I'm ever going to go pro and turn this into a career, I got to show out at these events and I got to make investments in attending these tournaments and stuff, regardless of the cost. I feel bad for those people. And I feel bad for the people that just want to go and have a good time. But it's not like these things are gone. They're just are on a smaller scale now, right? You have to go to regionals and not nationals. You have to go to locals and not, you know, Red Bull qualifiers. And that means that you're going to have fewer people to hang out with, but like that vibe is still a thing. You can still get that. I know people who are like playing online, like playing ranked is fucking stupid and meaningless, and like for me,
Incomplete.
that's what I want. Like that's where I'm happiest playing fighting games, is when I'm sitting alone in my room with like a stream on one screen and like, you know, in my boxers just playing ranked
Dead.
and seeing how high I can get my rank to go. Feel like, oh, it doesn't mean anything. Like, if you're high in rank, you still lose in offline. And I'm like, okay. Cool story.
Dead. Hut. It's good.
Yeah, some people have to make a lot more effort to go to locals, you know. Like I said, I'm sure that there are locals where I live. Um, I ran locals where I live for a long time, and I was part of like one of 2 or 3 groups that was doing them. But local drama and just like players I didn't want to interact with and that sort of thing kept me from making a more concerted effort to do more with that, or like to continue. Once I was sick of running them, I didn't want to like start attending someone else's. Yeah, when I was on Marvel 3, I was only. It's the same with every fighting game. I don't do player matches. I don't do like lounges. I just go on ranked. That's all I want to do. I like watching the number go up when I win and feeling the pressure of it going down when I lose. And that's all I'm after. That's it. That makes my brain happy.
Dead. Blue. Hut. Incomplete. Dead. Hut.
It's also very similar to like I play a lot of Counter-Strike. I play a lot of Rocket League, which are team games, and MOBAs are the same way too. I have no interest in playing with my friends on those. I mean, like I do want to play with my friends on those games, but I almost always have a better time playing by myself because there's sort of like less social pressure to do well. Like if I have a bad game, it's like whatever. I'm never going to see these people again. And if I have a good game and my team has a bad game and we lose, it's like, well, I tried. I did my best. And if we win, regardless, I'm like, cool, we won. And so it's like as much like mental defense as I can have to have a good time without feeling pressured to feel like I need to perform on a certain level. With fighting games, that's less so because it's not a team-based game. But what I find in fighting games a lot, in one-on-one games a lot, that makes for a less good time is that it's very hard for me to find someone that is a friend that I can play with that we can maintain a skill balance. Because if you're way better than your friend and you just have to either like roll all over them or not play to your strengths and play a different game to make it more interesting, that's hard on me. And inversely, if you're trying to play with your friend and they are just fucking, you know, raining buckets on your head and there's nothing you can do about it and you're just losing 20 times in a row, and I say you're, but I mean me, like that's not fun for me either. And then if you find someone that you are like on the same level with and you have like really good matches and it's even and it's interesting, like that is an equilibrium that is very hard to maintain, because if either person starts getting better and the other one fails to keep up, then that like Goldilocks zone is gone, and then you're right back to where you started. Again, you meaning me, not you meaning you. Kaidrian, congratulations on your first. I've got tech for this. I will, if I have a bad game, I will, like, get up and leave the computer for, like, 10 minutes. It doesn't always work, because I guess sometimes people do the same shit. But if I have a bad game, I will get up and, like, just take a breather, go get some water, maybe grab a quick shower or something, and then come back, just to minimize the possibility that I will run into those same people again. And it doesn't always work, but it works enough of the time that I feel like it's a sound strategy to adopt. Ugh. All of this to say that, like, none of this is... I'm not even going to pretend like it's best practices. It's definitely not the right answer. And it's, for most people, not going to be best practices. But for me, after ups and downs of, like, really getting invested in competitive gaming and really falling out of love with it, and having a lot of difficulty trying to find out where I belong in that space. These are the things that sort of make me generally the happiest, but it also doesn't necessarily mean that I'm feeling good 100% of the time. Like, I get salty sometimes, I perform poorly sometimes, I wish that I spent more time playing games with my friends, you know, but at the same time, I protect myself from feeling like I've let someone down. Which fighting games are great for. Like, the fact that fighting games are usually not team-oriented in any kind of way, shape, or form means that you can just, you know, if you lose, it's your fault. And if you win, it's your fault. And I like that a lot more than having to rely on other people to perform. Especially, you know, in the age of people who want to just troll or cheat or whatever. Why was that guy just standing there letting him run? Oh, whatever. That safety was literally not moving. He just turned his head and was like, oh shit, that guy's going to the end zone. Nice. The one, like, I don't understand why people... I mean, I understand why people cheat, but I can't... I would... If it were me, and I, like, put on cheats and, like, stomped an online game, it would be a one-and-done kind of thing. It'd be like, lol, that was funny. Anyways, like, that's as exciting as that's ever gonna get. Right? The one behavior that I don't understand is, like, plug pulling. I get it. I get why people do it. But that's the one thing where I'm just like, you are just a baby. You are an absolute baby. If you want to play a game and can't accept the possibility that in a game where there are 2 or 3 outcomes at most, you will not accept one of those outcomes. You just live in the fanfic. Why isn't the Dolphins arena underwater? It would give them an advantage, right? It's kind of like how Denver is a mile high and people have to like do oxygen training to play there. You're right. It should be. At least there should be like standing water on the field, I think.
Blue 23.
Yeah, that's true. That is true, Bobby Dice Roller. Yeah, I've never, like... I have used cheats for fun, and I've done it in a competitive, like, in, like, a
Blue,
local couch
42.
co-op kind of thing. It can be fun to, like, fuck around with, but to go online and, like, install cheats for a game and play other people, like, more than once. Again, if you're doing it once for, like, curiosity's sake or whatever, I understand that. But if you're like, yeah, I go on and for 3 hours a night I run aimbots and shit, and it's like, you're not winning. Like, you're winning, but you're not the reason why you're winning. The cheats are the reason why you're winning.
Green,
You're not getting better.
42.
You played yourself. You're just making everyone have a bad time. And it just seems like a waste of time to me. I guess some people just care more about, like, I don't know, getting a rise out of other people or just seeing their big numbers next to their name without doing anything to justify them.
Dead. Green, 42. Hut. Ow. First down.
And you know what, Liz? In complete and total fairness, for an 11-year-old, I think that's acceptable behavior. I think that's totally... And not because they're at a disadvantage, but just, like, that's cool to an 11-year-old. Like, that
Dead.
11-year-old me would be like, hell yeah, that story's great. I want to do that too.
Blue, 42. Hut.
So I think there's nothing to be ashamed of there, you know?
Touchdown.
But I just think about, like... I think about... And this isn't an equivalency of me saying, like, oh, fucking no-lifers sitting in their room all day playing video games. That's me. Like, don't think that's who I'm talking about here, because if I were saying that, I'd be talking about me. But, like, the thought of someone, like, going to work for 8 hours a day, coming home, having dinner, and then, like, loading up Call of Duty and just cheating for 3 hours is... I don't understand. Like, you could do that in single player and get the same power fantasy, aside from, like, ruining other people's time. That's the only difference. That's the only, like, it's the same sort of, you know, one-man army power fantasy of being this unstoppable force. Yeah, and I can't relate to that. That's not the kind of person that I am, so I will concede that point.
Blue, 42.
If that's the feeling that they're chasing, then okay.
Hut.
Yeah. Yep.
Touchdown.
And I like stressful games. I like challenges, but yeah. It is a good meme. All right, Scuddy, get some sleep. Try to stay cool. Do your best.
Dead. Hut.
Yeah, if you're I don't think there's anything like I do not see a problem with cheating in a single player game. If you feel like it's more fun for you to have, then, like, cool. It is not affecting anybody else. It's not doing anything to anybody else's good time or, like, whatever. Go for it. if it makes it more fun for you, that's why you're playing a game in the first place. It's not to be like it. You know what I always tell people is like, and even this is a little bit douchey on my part, I think, but as long as you're not bragging about it after the fact and being like, I am the greatest strategy game god of all time, and you're running cheats, like, but even that, like, who gives a shit? I don't care, you know?
First down.
Yeah. It's I mentioned this a little bit in I didn't tell this story in particular, but I was doing some because McCaw's been playing Battletoads Double Dragon on stream and is playing it right now. But someone brought up the concept of like, how did this get made? Like how much collaboration was there? Who inspired this sort of thing? And I ended up doing a little bit of research. 40can, thank you for the rainbow background message. And I found out that there was a canceled fourth Game Boy Battletoads game. And it was
White 51.
like never released, but it was complete enough to play all the way through. And when they were doing Rare Replay, one of the like 2 or 3 programmers that worked on it like found the game and he was like, hey, I have this still, like we could put this on Rare Replay. And when they were like testing it to make sure that it was finishable to decide whether or not they wanted to include it, none of the people on staff, from like old heads to probably modern Rare employees, could finish it because it was a Battletoads game. You know what I mean? And so what they ended up doing is he found that he still had the source code and he made his own infinite lives cheat just so they could like the game that he made, just so he could confirm that it was completable, because he wasn't sure he couldn't remember if it still was or not. Like, and there's no like there's no shame in any of that. Like, it's exploratory. It answered some questions, and like I've been there, man. When I was a kid, I used to run cheats all the time just to know, like, what else. I can't get farther in this game. I try and I can't beat it. The most common reason I would use cheats is I would be like, I want to know what the last level looks like. I want to know what the ending looks like. You know? And so that served a utility for me, where it didn't really dissuade me from continuing to play the game, but I needed to know, and I couldn't get there on my own power, and it was a fun and interesting thing to look into. Yeah, these football streams have been, because I can't just sim the games, so we have to get back to playing the game here after this game, which isn't to say that I can't talk and do the same thing at the same time. But the past couple streams of this have completely devolved into just chatting. Favorite cheat code name? Do you mean like what is the cheat, or do you mean what does the cheat do? Or do you mean the cheat should have a pizza trophy? The actual code you enter.
Blue 42.
I think my favorite one from back in the day was Gabba Gabba Hey on Descent. That was probably my favorite one. I can't think of any like really good examples of ones that I think are the ultimate best codes, but there are a lot of good ones. There are definitely a lot of good ones. I don't remember the SimCity 2000 ones. Those were probably... I think those were good. The SimCity 2000 cheats I think were pretty good, but I can't remember what they actually were.
Incomplete.
Power overwhelming. I used a lot of cheats on PC games because I was rarely good enough to finish PC games as a kid. There's a reason why I don't play much for them on stream, and it's because my nostalgia for them is limited to like thinking they were cool and sucking total ass at them. I did use a lot of cheats in like Doom and Descent and SimCity and Duke Nukem and yeah, StarCraft and Warcraft.
Set.
Age of
White
Empires.
51.
Age of Empires was like, I wasn't good at the game, and the pace of it was so much slower than the Blizzard RTS games and the Westwood RTS games. So it was like, I had a lot of fun playing it, but when I hit my skill limit, it was like, this takes a long time to play, and I keep losing at it. So yeah, using cheats was a cool way to see more of what there was to do in that game. What's up, Zen 4?
Set.
Even if you're talking about like my favorite cheat of all time, though, like regardless of cool name or whatever, I really like a lot of. I mean, surprisingly, maybe on brand for me, I'm a big fan of how many N64 era cheats just stayed hidden. I mean, like for the Super Punch Out multiplayer one is another example, but like whenever a cheat stays hidden for more than like 2 or 3 years before being found, like the longer it goes before someone finds it, the cooler I think it is. The Naboo Starfighter in Rogue Squadron, or the all weapons code in GoldenEye, or just things that everyone wanted and we're like, well, that can't exist, and then someone's like, oh, actually it does, and just no one found it for. I put it in there and I didn't tell anyone for 15 years, but yeah, it's there. Go for it. That to me is like the coolest shit. I love that.
Set. Green 20. Hut.
Don't get safety. Hell yeah.
First down.
Yeah, I like RTS games, but I can't think of many genres that I'm worse at. And so, like, wanting to proceed meant cheating, but at the same time, I don't think I ever, like, cheated an RTS campaign to completion. Because didn't most of them back in the day, like, if you were playing campaign mode in Warcraft, I know Warcraft did, I'm pretty sure StarCraft did, where, like, if you put the cheat in, you could finish the map, and then it would say cheater, and it wouldn't unlock the next mission. Right? You know, if you just dropped that ball, it wouldn't have been a fight. You fucking idiot. He bobbled it, and if he just let it hit the ground, it would have been 2nd and 10. But he actually caught the bobble and then dove out of bounds. What a fucking moron. You play some RTS games in single player without bots and play it like it's Farmville? I think that's weird. Nah, there's a certain... I like those types of games. I
Blue
will,
42.
to anyone who will bother to listen, I will talk about how goddamn cool A Kingdom for Keflings was on Xbox 360. And that's pretty much what you're describing. Like, so I don't think that's weird, Goat Town. Like, you mean I get to build things up and evolve my stronghold and like advanced tech trees, and I don't have to worry about getting Zerg rushed? This is the perfect video game. Don't worry about it, Zenfor. Don't worry about it.
Green 42.
Don't worry about it.
Hut.
Also, it might be on the Xbox One store still.
Timeout.
But don't worry about it. Not everything has to be a downer. Not every happy memory has to be colored with a sense of loss and impermanence.
Timeout.
I think I should go get my streamer beverage before it gets too late. Not that I'm going to be going to bed anytime soon, but before the game has to stop playing itself. We're in the fourth quarter too. Yeah, I'm gonna go grab this streamer beverage real quick. I'll be back in like 1 minute.
Green, 42. Hut. Out. Back. Timeout. Set. Blue, 23.
Damn it! People are complimenting me and putting toilets on the screen. God damn it! Thank you, chat. Thank you for hanging out while I go get a can of beverage.
Set. Black, 51. Hut.
We have a Mountain Dew Kickstart Pineapple Orange Mango.
Incomplete.
So that's what we're going to be slurping on. Doing a slurpo. What's up, Neo Freeman?
Set. Green, 20. Hut. Out.
Do you guys like to pour drinks out of a can and then drink it out of a glass? Or do you like to drink out of a can or a bottle?
Incomplete.
I like to drink out of a can.
Set. Black, 51. Hut. First down.
Can't drink beer out of a can. I think I kind of like beer more out of a can.
Set.
Like fast drinking is really important to me. I like to chug, and it's harder to do that in a glass, I think.
Set. Hut. Out.
Needing more ice, though, is a valid reason to pour.
First down.
Yeah, I like the Pepsi Nitro better just drinking it out of the can. You're supposed to pour it. I don't care. I like the weird, like, fizzy maltiness of it, just straight from the can. Wide mouth 1 liters? I don't think... I know what you're talking about, but I don't think it's still a thing.
Set. Hut. Out. It's good.
All right. 1 more minute, and then it is time. It's the quest for the Lombardio Super Bolio trophy. Neuro Gabby with some 50 pizzas.
How's the pizza? Ref, it's good.
One of these. I am enjoying your pizza pie. Thank you. Thank you for the 50 bits, Neuro Gabu. Get good.
Incomplete.
Get good. Get good.
Set. White 51. Hut. Incomplete.
You mean after pouring it, sports balls? I feel like it's smoother from the can.
Set. Blue 42. Hut.
Maybe I just suck at pouring, though. Maybe I'm a bad pour meister. No, I'm playing as Detroit, Shadrock. I'm playing against Miami.
Set. Blue 42.
I mean, it could happen, Bobby, but you'd have to have like an absolute freak of nature player. You'd have to have some kind of like once in a lifetime, like, oh, we found Usain Bolt's like genetic twin who wants to play football instead of just run. And the greatest lineman ever, yeah.
Set.
It's pretty close, yeah. But I mean, they've got a decent. Do they still have Brandon Ayuk? I think he left this year, didn't he? Did he just resign? Like they've got talent in other places. They part of what I like about football is that you can't like real football, not video football, is you really can't just lean on like a one-dimensional attack. Like it's the way that the game is designed. You probably need to at least
Green
bluff a
42.
little bit. Yeah, I disagree, Bear Mountain. Min-maxing is the enemy to me. I like the idea of like
Timeout.
I am okay with the idea of athletes using like steroids. Weirdly. But I'm against the idea of anything just being like completely, you know,
Set.
solved.
Green 20.
I don't want any athlete to use steroids, but at the same time, like if it helps with recovery, I understand. And if it's like if it's something that everyone has equal access to and is used responsibly, I understand. Weirdly, like if I have like people that I know in real life who are like, yeah, I take steroids because I lift weights and I get like bigger. I hate that shit. I absolutely fucking hate that. it I'm like it makes me think less of a person if someone I know personally is like taking steroids while they work out. But like in the terms of a professional athlete, I'm like, yeah, fucking go for it. I don't care. I see what you're saying there, Liz, and I want to make sure that we're clear that I don't necessarily. I'm not talking about that. I'm also not talking about, you know. I'm specifically talking about taking steroids for the sole purpose of like gaining muscle mass. That I don't like that. Yeah. I am an inconsistent
Blue,
enigma
23.
of a man, Marmot.
Hut.
And I can't always explain the logic behind why I feel the way I do about things.
First down.
Well, I don't have a car. And I imagine getting a bigger engine would probably mean consuming more fuel. So probably not. But I don't know, maybe. If I needed like torque or something.
Blue, 23. Hut. Touchdown.
Dude, everyone drives a truck down here. I hate it. I hate it so much. New Mexico is like so fucking truck pilled.
Set. Hut.
What's up, Reg?
It's good.
Get it? Get it? Damn it. Alright, we lose. But that's okay. We didn't need to win. It's okay that we lost. I mean, I've been prescribed steroids, and I usually have a bad time on them. I get prescribed steroids a lot because I have one medicinal allergy that doctors are like very specific about prescribing around. So whenever I get like even like a minor infection, I usually get prescribed steroids, and I get mood changes on them. It has a very significant effect to my mental state, and I will take them because I'd rather be, you know, healthy than dealing with being like extra grumpy or extra sensitive for a while. But I'm never happy about getting prescribed them. All right, the regular season is over. And the number one team in the NFL is the Detroit Lions at 12-4. We are the best. Number one. Ooh, look at this fancy playoff graphic with like drop shadows and shit. First round bye. We gotta play the Vikings. Cowboys and Eagles on the other side of the bracket. Jets, Steelers, Chiefs, and Finns on this side. Ooh. Save position. Oh, there's different save slots for the playoffs? That's weird. That's weird, game. You're a weird video game sometimes. Alright. Let's do this. It's time for us to play the video game. Yeah, I have an allergy to amoxicillin. And I wish that doctors would just prescribe penicillin, but I guess enough people are allergic to penicillin that they just will give me like steroids instead whenever I need amoxicillin. I'll do it, Dino. I will do it. I will run the same 2 plays like I've been doing all game. I won the conference. I'm the number 1 seed in the league. Don't take recreational blood thinners. That's a good... That's, you know, if you take one thing away from today's stream,
20.
I hope that it's that. Unless something even more important comes up later. I can do Z-Packs, but they don't usually give me Z-Packs. It's not common for doctors. I don't know why. It's a valid strat. You gotta rest your... Well, we didn't rest our star players is the funny part. We just made them
Black, 30,
not try as hard. That would be a good name for that X-Keeper. There was, when I was a kid, and I think it's still around, I'm not sure, there was a commercial sleep aid called Nitol. I don't know if anyone else remembers this. And they had like a jingle on their commercial that was like, Nitol will help you get your Z's. I couldn't remember the name Nitol, and so I went like 20... I mean, even when I think about it now, when I hear the name Midol... I always think it's like for sleeping, and I'm like, why does it also help with periods? That's weird, but it's cool that it does like two things at once.
Red, 20. Hut.
Those commercials, and the other one that stuck with me as a kid was like, I think it was for Vicks. I don't remember what the product was necessarily, but the commercials were just like this like white paper disc that was on fire. It kind of looked like a communion wafer that was just burning, and like someone holding it and be like, oh, like this is soothing heat or whatever. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, why do I need to take this burning circle? Like, what benefit does this provide? I don't understand. Ricola.
Set. Hut.
What's up, Mike? The big gaming news of today, probably not Epsilon Eagle. Big gaming news? How big are we talking? Am I gonna turn off my Sega out of, like, shock? Okay, so the only thing I saw about that is one person I follow on Twitter being like, I hate limited run games. That's the only thing that I saw about that. And I didn't have any extra context, but I understand now. Just wanted to watch Price is Right. Price is Right is just a big commercial, and I don't know, I still like it, but it feels different realizing that it's all just like paid sponsorship. Yeah, I don't like limited run games. I do buy stuff from them once in a great while.
Green, 42.
Like, my distaste for their business model is enough that I try not to give them money directly, but like, have I purchased limited run games before? A couple times. I have exploited their publishing, but I usually try to do so in a way that does not
Green, 20.
does not support their business.
Hut.
But if people like them, like, I'm not gonna tell you you're the devil for buying from them. I genuinely am not interested in getting that emotionally invested in what people do with their money.
Set. Green, 42. Hut. Incomplete.
Yeah, it is. It is. And it's... it's not that dissimilar to what we were talking about earlier with, like, people feeling obligated to,
Set.
be a professional esports
Black,
level
51.
player. I think that to some degree, people...
Incomplete.
There are some people who are like, if I talk about relevant topics, then I can get snapped up by the algorithm. And other people just want to, talk about what's going on in the world around them. And I find that even when I have opinions on things, I don't feel particularly compelled to share them without having some kind of prompt to do so. Like, if I'm live streaming and we're talking about fucking whatever, like, I'll drop how I feel about something. I'll try and have something interesting to say about whatever topic is prevalent, but, like, I don't know.
Blue, 42. Hut.
I'm sensitive to negativity. Like, I've talked about this before. Like, I
Incomplete.
tend to pick up on, like, whatever emotional vibe is around, and it affects me. And I've learned that if I go to places that are not dealing in negativity, I am in a better mood than I am if I'm, like, getting in the mud with everybody. Hey,
White, 51.
thanks. I like it too.
Hut.
Yeah, what? No, I'm good. Okay.
Black.
So yeah, it's just like, it's something that I have to fight in myself sometimes. Like, sometimes something comes up and I'll be like, ooh, I'm gonna fucking tweet about this. And, like, I always kind of take a second and go, like, what do I hope will come out of this? And if it's something that it just doesn't have, like, a
Hut.
desirable end game for me, then I'll just delete it. Yeah, I don't think I don't think there's a lot of things that I feel that strongly about Bear Mountain.
Hut.
Yeah, I don't like Funko Pops, But like I said, if it's the same thing that I've been kind of talking about recently, where, like, it bothers me when I go somewhere and people are like, anyone who buys a retro game for more than $5 is a fucking moron. It's like, well, doing that makes me happy, and, like, I wish it was $5, but the happiness that I get, like, engaging in that activity, is why I do it. I don't have to. It's a limited resource for me, but when I have it and I want to, like, do something that I like to do, it's a very reliably enjoyable activity for me to engage in. And, if that's Funko Pops or limited run games or Garbage Pail Kids or whatever, like, life is too hard for everyone to try and, like,
Set.
piss in other people's Kool-Aid. If you're not violating anyone's, ability to do the same for themselves, then why is it that important? But that's something that I've had to work on over the years, and I've had to grow into Bear Mountain. Like, it's not, I'm not some ascetic who you know has this enlightened viewpoint of the world. It's like I recognize the power that words have, and how they can make people happy or cause conflict, and like it's important to me to do my best to speak with clarity, right? The thing that I'm working on right now that we've been talking about is not I don't want to talk about what the best something is, because that's a loaded like mindset that causes arguments and disagreements because of how strongly people feel about things. But favorite is a much less like aggressive way to go about it. And if someone wants to argue like vehemently with you about why the thing that you like the most isn't the one that you should like the most, like that person needs like an intervention. Like, you know? That person is either seeking conflict or is not like being considerate of how other people might feel. I appreciate that, Shadrock. Thank you very much for doing that. I'm glad you like it.
Blue.
Top 50
23.
objectively best albums of all time. Angelic to the Core by Corey Feldman. It's got to be on that list. That's, I mean, like, if we're just talking about objective musical quality. Show me one person who doesn't like that album. You can't. Can I name a single song from that album? Oh, fuck, what was the fucking single from it called? No. No, I can't. I'm sorry. You caught me, Liz. Red-handed. You know, something that I think about a lot, and I would do if I had way more time every day, is like listening to albums that people only know like one song from, just to see like what are the deep cuts. I'm curious, like what does that entire Len album sound like? You know, maybe there's some bangers on there. It happens. Sometimes the song gets made a single because it's the catchiest.
Blue. 23.
Yeah, maybe there are some Len bangers. I am not going to close my mind off to the possibility that Len has some bangers. Now, I don't have the time to investigate this further. I want to, but I don't want to badly enough to sacrifice other activities to do a deep dive on the Len discography.
Black. 51.
Man, Battle Flag was such a good song. And, like, I like other songs from that album, too, but, like, I understand. They used to play that song on the alternative radio station when I was growing up, and, like, Lo-Fi All-Stars are not an alternative band. Uploaded a video for Vienna, like, 2 months ago. You like the Cardigans? Yeah. Cardigans are cool. I haven't listened to a ton of Cardigans, but I know that they're more than just Love Fool. I like Love Fool, but they definitely have other stuff. My favorite Billy Joel video is the one where he goes apeshit on stage in the USSR and starts yelling at the police. Does that make me a casual Billy Joel fan? Maybe. But damn it, that's my favorite one. Shin Megami Tensei, these fake fans.
Set. Hut.
Speaking of music, Ern, and maybe other people in chat, I got an email today that Soul Coughing is going on tour in a couple months for the first time in 25 years. And that is fucking wild to me, because if you know how that band broke up, it is, like, unfathomable that they would ever get back together. But apparently they have. Like, the singer of that band went public in a memoir saying that the keyboardist was trying to hypnotize him to do drugs by using subliminal samples in their music. It's one of the messiest band breakups I've ever heard of. And they're just, 25 years later, they're like, hey, let's do a tour. So, they're not going to be too close to me, but I think that's pretty cool. I would go see them. That's fair, you know. No, it's the original lineup. It's they went to efforts to be like, it's the whole band. No one's missing. Oh yeah, I remember reading about that. That was crazy. That was fucking such a weird. Yeah. Yeah, I heard all about that, Liz. There's some songs where I like the solo mixes more. There's some where I like the band mix more. It's give and take for me. I mean, I like them both, honestly. I don't think there's necessarily any song in that catalog that I prefer, that I'm like, there's only one good version of, but that's me.
Set. Green 20. Hut.
But yeah, I like woke up to that email and was just like, no, that's not right. What do you mean? Like, is this some kind of publicity stunt? Is this a in name only kind of thing where it's the singer and some other people?
Set.
Nope. I guess they've settled their differences enough to do a tour.
Black 33. Hut. Jack.
Why do you keep deleting the VOD, Goat Tongue? You don't have the authority to do that. Could you stop deleting my VODs?
Set. Black 33. Hut.
Yeah, please report back, Bear Mountain. I would love to hear what you discover.
Set.
Just real quick. Len album. I want to just look at the titles of the songs. They are currently active. They took a 6-year hiatus, but they are currently active. The album with Steal My Sunshine on it is called You Can't Stop the Bum Rush. They have a song called Hot Rod Monster Jam. They have a song called The Hard Disk Approach. They have a song called Cryptic Souls Crew. Cryptic is spelled with a K. Huh. These are all either going to be, like, terrible or, like, sneak good, I think. Their last album was in 2012. It does not have a Wikipedia article. They have a song called Grand Theft Snowboard. That sounds pretty good. I used to find a lot of songs online by just, like, searching, like, for a specific word that I'd be like, it'd be weird if this was in the title of a song. And I found a lot of good music that way. You know? So... They did a song with Biz Markie? Okay. Alright. Okay. That's pretty good. It kind of looks like the GameStop placeholder cover art. I can see it. Yeah, nobody beats the Biz.
Green, 20. Hut.
Dorky.
Dead. Hut.
I wish that I could just,
Down.
I wish that I could just, like, play music on this stream without fear of repercussion. Just be like, you know what, chat? This game doesn't have any music. Let's listen to Len while we play through this football game, and we can come to a decision together. I did watch Mission Hill. Not, like, religiously, but I watched it. Yeah.
First down.
It's always interesting, too, when you're like, I don't know any... Like, we talked about, I think we talked about Corey Hart fairly recently, where I was like, I can't think of any songs by Corey Hart besides Sunglasses at Night. And I actually looked into it a week or so after we talked about it, and I was like, wait, I actually know, like, 3 more Corey Hart songs. I forgot about those, you know? It's a good strat, Dino. My strat is, like, if I ever need to play music, I will deliberately disable the VOD, and it's like, you're only going to get to watch this live. I actually had a pretty good idea for a series of Tony Hawk streams with that strategy that I may enable at some point in the future, because it's been a long time since I've really, like, played a bunch of Tony Hawk, and I want to. It happens, right? Like, sometimes a band is signed to a label and they do, like, one sort of radio-friendly song, and either it just stands out as this weird anomaly, or it becomes, like, Sugar Ray is a really good example of a band who was doing one specific kind of thing and then,
Red, 20.
like,
Hut.
had a song that changed the entire trajectory of the band in terms of not only their success, but, like, the kind of music that they made. Older Sugar Ray stuff is, like, almost punk music. Everclear, yeah, that's a good example. I can't think of the singer from Everclear without picturing Telly from Sesame Street.
Dead.
Those two are the same person in my head.
Dead. Blue, 42. Hut.
Well, yeah, or Elmo's dad, yeah. Yeah, but I have to do it, Puffy, is the shitty part. Like, when I'm playing the N64 games, here's the thing. I want to play through the Tony Hawk games on stream. And to me, my experience is
Blue,
like
23.
60 to 70% of the reason to play a Tony Hawk game is to listen to the good music. It's a great game. I'm not saying it's like it's just the music, but like it is an integral part of the experience for me, right? However, when I'm doing the N64 complete works, the important thing to me is like the captured sort of analysis and experience, right? So when I'm playing the N64 games, I know they're going to get VOD muted. I have to turn the music off. But if I were to play through the Tony Hawk franchise as a separate project, I would have to play them with the music, and so I would not save the VODs. So it's kind of depending on like why am I doing this? Like what's my aim? I got a copyright. I didn't get a copyright strike, but I got VOD muted for Tony Hawk 1 on the N64. And so like I know it's one of those things where I know that if I'm doing something that I technically shouldn't be doing, I'm not going to risk the long-term future of this channel when I could make an adjustment and avoid, you know, dealing with consequences later. I don't think so. I don't think so. Because it's just like, it's a decision for me to be like, do I care more about this being something that people can go back and watch? Or do I care more about just, this is what I'm doing that night, and like, you know. It's a live only performance. And I'm very much at peace with that decision. As someone who wants to play a lot of like rhythm games and stuff, and I know that I'm going to run into that sort of decision tree every single time it comes up, I just don't need to have that preserved for all eternity or whatever. I can just do it once live and then do something else the next time. I did get another fucked up VOD mute for a YouTube rapper who just took a video game song and sampled it by playing it as the entire backbeat of their song. That happened to me again last week. So that's cool. That's always fun. Yep. Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like if you get a content claim and you are like, yeah, I did that, like, then that's cool. If you're getting hounded by the Franz Bleed band, then fuck that guy. I like dirt, and dirt likes me. That's such a good song. Was that in Thaw, or was that in, for the console version, was that in Thug 2? Because I definitely heard that song a lot while I was playing Tony Hawk. Every version of Thaw.
Black 33.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one.
Timeout. Set. Black 33.
At the end of the day, it's just like I will do things as necessary to like
Touchdown.
try to avoid any sort of conflict with licensed audio. But for me, it's just a decision of like, do I care more about doing this stream or having this visible as easily as possible, you know, when I upload it to YouTube, when I save it as a VOD. And anytime I get disputes from people that are just like, it's not their song and they're just claiming it, I'm always like, all right, well, I'm going to dispute this and hope I don't have to like go to federal court one day and have to explain the difference between Zelda music and some dude who sampled the Water Temple and did a YouTube video with 114 views on it. Could happen, but that's a hill I'm willing to at least fight on, if not die. I'm not want to die on it, but like I'm willing to give it a shot to like stand up for that. And I'm not disputing like, look, I don't give a shit. I support you if you are on SoundCloud and YouTube doing bedroom tracks and trying to like make music for fun or profit. Just like don't, you know, don't sample something and then be like, I made this. Don't be that webcomic. Just don't. It's okay. I always like it. Like, I'm usually a fan of when I hear game music sampled in something. I'm always like, hey, that's cool. But like, just whenever I like finish a stream and I see like, oh, a portion has been muted, I'm like, okay, maybe that's on me. Maybe like, you know, a song is getting claimed that I used because I play video game music both in and out of game on this channel every stream, and if there's a claim on that, like that, I understand. And then it's like, nope, it's some dude called Trey Burpee making a song called "The Hoes Don't Want It," and it just uses an unaltered version, just a completely unaltered, unchopped video game song with maybe, if you're lucky, with maybe a drum track added. This last one, no drum track. It was some dude, like, so, okay, the song that got me muted was Humming the Bass Line from Jet Set Radio. And I always go and I look at the video and I'm like, okay, who is this and why is it getting claimed? And I'm like, this dude is just rapping over Humming the Bass Line. That's all he's doing. He rapped over Humming the Bass Line, he uploaded it, and now I'm getting my VOD muted because we played the same song that neither of us had a hand in making. If it had been like, and whenever it's like, oh yeah, this was muted because like Sega said no, and I'm like, okay, yeah, they can do that. Fair enough, Sega, I understand. But whenever it's that, I'm always like, nope, I'm filling out the form. I don't give a fuck. I'm disputing this. Yeah, shoutouts to Trey Burpee. I need to turn the clock up. I think I've been too distracted talking about Trey Burpee to speed up the timer. Yeah, it's iframes. It's a lariat. It's like a Hagar lariat.
Set. Hut.
Bow, bow.
First down. Set. Hut.
3-yard gain. 3 yards.
Set. Hut. First down.
Basketball season's over now. Is hockey done yet? Did the Panthers win the cup, or is it still going? Oh no, it's still going. Shit.
Delay of game.
I feel like hockey is probably the easiest sport in terms of, well, maybe baseball too. But like it's sort of the best sport for a best of 7 format because it just basketball is like once you're up 3 games, it's basically over, right? Obviously, there are times when that doesn't happen, but it's way less common where in like hockey, it's just like, yeah, fucking, it's going to go 7 games every time pretty much for some reason. Yeah, I saw a bunch of people saying like worst finals ever sort of thing. But I did not watch any basketball this season, so I don't know.
Set. Hut. Touchdown.
Good dance. I'll just spike the ball, that's fine too. Do a dance. Just give me a chance to do a hip-hop dance.
Set. Hut.
What's up, Beatles? The Olympics are this summer, right? That's got to be soon. Summer. I typed summer with 3 M's. Summer Olympics. July 26th to August 11th. I might watch some Olympics. I could see myself watching some Olympics. Just a whole team of Barry Sanderses. I mean, I'm not passing. It would work, I think. Where, what do you mean, like where in the world, Dorky, or like where on streaming? What's my favorite Olympics game? Nagano Winter Olympics 98 on N64. It's happening in
That's
Paris.
the end of the third quarter.
Paris has the Summer Games. The Summer Games! I've had this idea for a very long time about Olympic or World Cup streaming content, but I've never enacted it. One of these years I'm going to have to enact my grand plan.
Incomplete.
feel like that happens every year. It turns out that, like, in terms of infrastructure, the Olympics are kind of a shit show. Did you see the, like, sex-free beds they built for the athletes? Because if you don't know, like, famously, there's just a ton of sex in the Olympic Village every time they do the Olympics, because it's just a bunch of people in, like, peak physical fitness living with each other for a month or two, and then going their separate ways. So, like, there is a lot of just Olympic athlete sex happening every time. And I guess the Olympic Village that Paris built has some kind of bed design that's to discourage them from having sex. I don't know. Yeah, they're like the strongest, most able-bodied people in the world. I don't think, like, doing it on the floor is gonna deter them. Humans are surprisingly resilient at finding any way and place to have sex. Like, just making the bed a sleep number bed is not gonna solve the problem.
First down.
But I don't actually know, like, why that's a priority. Like, I don't know why they're like, we have to do something about all these Olympians having sex.
Touchdown.
Sports ballers.
The article from the official website denies they are anti-sex pets.
Okay, well, that's good to know. At least they're not being like, we did this on purpose. But they probably did. That's probably, I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and say it's spin when I literally just, like, saw 2 tweets about it or whatever. I'm not an expert. It's for environmentalism. Yeah, but don't they normally convert the Olympic Village into, like, housing after the Olympics are done? Like, environmentalism is good and all, but so is having more places for people to sleep with shelter. I'll only believe it if the Paris Olympics organizers come out and say, we want them to have sex. We strongly encourage these athletes hooking up during their time here in Paris. That's the only way I'm going to buy it. Shadrach, thank you for the 50 Last of Us.
TNO, I'm telling you, Radon, The Last of Us is one of the best games I've ever played. The story is so emotional and the gameplay is so intense. Radon, I know what you mean.
This was written
TNO.
by AI.
I loved the game too. But have you played The Last of Us Part 2? It's even better. Just then, Duke bursts into the room, grinning from ear to ear. Hey guys, what's up? Oh, you're talking about video games? Yeah, I love playing them too. D's nuts. Duke exclaims, laughing at his own joke.
That's classic Duke Donuts. I can tell it's fake because I said that I loved The Last of Us. Thank you for the 50 bits, Shadrach.
Dead. Hut.
What's something about video games, chat, that you enjoy that you feel like a lot of people don't put weight into?
Timeout.
What's an element of video games that is important to you that you feel like a lot of other people are unconcerned with?
Dead. Hut. Touchdown.
Playing for the story, not the difficulty. Good menu navigation. Yeah, so I mean, if that's how you feel, Dan Highland, then Shadrock, thank you for the 50 Elder Scrolls.
DNO, I'm telling you, Radon, the new Elder Scrolls game is a total game changer. The graphics are insane. Radon, I know, right? I've been playing it non-stop. The combat system is so much more intuitive this time around. Just then, Duke bursts into the room. Duke, hold up, guys. I just heard the most epic D's nuts joke. Why did the chicken go to the doctor? DNO and Radon, groaning, oh boy, here we go. Duke, because it had foul breath. D's nuts.
I like the idea of not finding an opportunity to do a D's nuts joke, but hearing a D's nuts joke so good that you have to repeat it verbatim to someone else. Thank you for the 50 bits, Shadrock. I had a friend who would get really excited if a game had good shadows. And it was very eye-opening to me because it was one of those things that, like, aside from them being present or not in, like, 16-bit games, I've never once given thought to, like, how good the shadows are in a video game. But for him, it was, like, it was something that would instantly increase his enjoyment if done well.
Dead. Dead. Hut.
Get him! Get him! He's running away! Ah! I think for me it's music.
Dead. Hut.
Which is not to say that I don't think people appreciate good video game music, but like it is really it has a lot of weight with me. Like if a game has good music, I will forgive a lot that I don't like about it. So there's a lot of emphasis for me on a game having good music.
Dead. Hut.
Ah, zero's on the clock. Let's go. Get out of the playoffs, Minnesota. 76 to 37. Jesus Christ. It's close. Yeah, nail. Ooh, look at this. Action-packed football 95, issue 1. Includes Humperdinck Challenge, Whoopi Spugnut Missing Beauty, clipboard film Underlorps, exclusive Foot Action USA Quarterback Challenge. That's exciting. Special graphic magazine cover for winning a game? That's pretty cool. Shadrock, thank you for the 50 Last of
DNO,
Us's.
I'm telling you, Radon, The Last of Us is the best game I've played this year. Radon, I agree, but I think God of War is a close second. Just then, Duke bursts into the room. DNO, oh, here we go again. Duke, why did the peanut go to the doctor? Radon, sigh, I don't know, why?
I like that the sigh
because
is
it was
outside of
feeling a little
quotations.
cracked up. Haha, get it? Cracked up like a nut. D's nuts.
Like, I clearly said sigh, but it wasn't a verb. And it somehow wasn't part of what I had said quotably. The Detroit Lions have hopes of going to the Super Bowl. The Minnesota Vikings had an incredible season, but they just couldn't win it today. That's all for John. He has the easiest job in the world. He's like, hello, welcome to the postgame show. This team won. See you next week. Thank you for the 50 bits, Shadrock. Snappiness. Yeah. That is important. Alright, so who we got? Lions, Eagles in the NFC, and Steelers, Chiefs in the AFC. Exciting. Woo, woo, woo. Bam, bam. Conference Championship. 1994 Championship. I like the Eagles, like, medieval, like, Renaissance fair font that they've got going on there. It's heads. They might lose to the Steelers, Kydron. We'll see. We will see. Hello, Orky Bork. I think I do appreciate a video game that doesn't, like, drag out the introduction for too long. Sometimes I'm in the mood. If it's like a good cutscene or like good storytelling, I'll be fine with it. I think in that regard, something that is important to me though is like sectioned gameplay, something that I can like break up into smaller chunks. If a game doesn't have like a good stopping point every so often where I can feel like, okay, like this is a good place to stop playing this for now and come back to later, that can be difficult for me. It doesn't have to be like small chunks necessarily, but there has to be some level of portion control, which I lack in my life otherwise.
Set. Black 51.
Like, I always get really frustrated when I'm like, okay, I'm going to finish this scene and then I'm going to, like, quit and go to bed or whatever, end stream. And the game is like, actually, this is the beginning of a 4-hour epic scene where, like, shit is just going to keep happening. And I'm like, okay, well, but I want to stop, though. Let me off the ride.
Set. Black 33. Set. White 51. Hut.
Yeah.
Punch down.
It's funny to me, Dino, because it's something that I appreciate the developers being like, you know what? We should really let people, like, stop in the middle of this cutscene. But I will always kind of meme on it at the same time, because it's like, even though it's like a friendly design choice, it's like, oh, look at this cutscene's got a save point in it.
42.
Yeah, I do like that too, Kaiju. That is nice. That's a nice feature. Green Herring with the 20 months of football. Magnetic Kappa with a big ass gun. How you doing, Green Herring? Thank you for the 20-month resub.
Set.
I'm gonna go back here. Bye.
White 51.
And then just run full speed.
Incomplete.
I've solved football. Instead of lining up on the line, players should line up 10 yards back and then just run full speed at the play. Makes them harder to stop. You're welcome, football.
Set. Blue 42. Touch.
I'm wondering, actually. I'm sure it's one of those things where I always feel like, oh, I'm such a clever lad. I've come up with something no one else has ever thought of, and I'm sure it's always something people have thought of, but know that it doesn't work. I'm wondering if you could just start your offense, like if you could concede 2 or 3 yards on your offensive play. Does the ball have to be on the line, or can you line it up behind the line? Just to like give your players more space to do stuff. I'm sure you have to line it up on the line or whatever. It's got to be a rule. If it moves off the line where it was placed, it's illegal. Okay. Well, there goes my NFL coaching career. Yet again. I keep trying.
First down.
Yeah, that is true, Schemo. I am aware of. I do know about the CFL rules. There's also like a yard between the two lines, I think, right? The defense lines up a yard back from where the ball is placed. Kill the quarterback, but make it look like an accident. Just passing a 50 discreetly. Okay, this defense is pretty good. Looks like the Eagles have a good defense. I'm glad we only had that one frame drop at the start of the stream. I was a little worried that the weather was going to knock the stream down tonight, but it looks like it was just a one-time issue.
First down.
Anytime you get to talk about partially deflated balls, I think it's humorous. We've had like 60-mile-an-hour winds the past 2 days. It's been very, very windy.
Set. Put. Touchdown.
Man, why aren't there more 32X games? I'm gonna have to go back in time and tell Sega to get their shit together. Boo boo. I am the Graveyard Blitz. I mean, look. Zophar is A, a very wise individual, and B, probably right in this instance. Yet, there are some positive. I mean, like, so if you talk about Sega in 1994 and just what the market looked like for each branch of the company, it makes perfect sense why they both did what they did, right? In Japan, the Mega Drive was like a third place contender. It was never the runaway success that they had hoped for, and the bigger the technological leap they could make, the more likely they were going to be in a position of success. Hence the Saturn doing extremely well in Japan. In America, the Genesis was like fighting with the Super Nintendo pretty closely most of the time. And so anything that would be able to extend the Genesis's lifespan and help it surpass what the Super Nintendo was doing would put them ideally in a position to. And like, I'm not gonna get into like, was an add-on console a good idea in the first place? You know, was the marketing? None of that. I'm not concerned about any of that, right? I'm just saying that if you're talking about in America, the Genesis was like fighting for number one and putting up a fight, and in Japan, the Genesis was like hanging on to number three because there wasn't a better option in a lot of cases. And so it makes a lot of sense why each company's division, who were so disconnected from one another, would have different plans in mind for how to capitalize on or make a change to their market position, you know? I will agree, and I firmly believe that from a purely business standpoint, yes, the 32X has no reason to exist. They should have funneled all development, R&D, marketing into the Saturn. It was the right decision to make because clearly the 32X didn't work in any region. It didn't get significant traction, and they ended up having to liquidate it very quickly, right? That doesn't mean I don't love it. It doesn't mean that I wouldn't want to have seen crazy shit go down on this system and like super cool games. And I think that there is some level of missed opportunity, but even in the best of situations, with how immediately successful the PlayStation was and how quickly the technology was changing in that year alone, like 94 to 95, video game technology made a full-on paradigm shift forward. And anything that was left behind was stuff that already had a huge adoption rate. And anything that survived from like pre-94 past 96 was something that was already in like tens of millions of households. But like the 32X was out of date by the time it came out.
Black 33.
But I always think about like if they'd done a Phantasy Star for the 32X, I think it could have rivaled Chrono Trigger in terms of presentation. I think it would have been as big of a spectacle if they had like really made full use. And I know like people in this chat know way more about the hardware and the architecture and how hard it was to develop, and they're like, well, probably not. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm an optimist. I'm an optimist, and I like underdogs, and I like to think that it would actually be hella sick. And, you know, there are some elements of the Saturn that make that what if much easier to think about, where like most of Sega's like main IP going into the Saturn era did not get adequate support. There's no, I mean, like the most glaring omission, right, is that there's no Sonic platformer on no original Sonic platformer on the Saturn. There's no Streets of Rage. There's no Phantasy Star. There's no I don't want to say Alex Kidd. But like it was kind of a cool era for Sega because it's where they started to build a lot of momentum for developing new IPs. And that's always exciting. It's always cool when you have a talented development team working on new ideas rather than simply iterating on beloved franchises. Like, that is a positive. It's one of the reasons why people like the Dreamcast so much, is because Sega was just in their bag, pulling out the weirdest shit they could think of and putting a lot of care into and a lot of style into what they were doing. And a lot of those games that even if they didn't find like long-term repeated releases and growth, like, people love talking about Jet Set Radio and The House of the Dead and Panzer Dragoon, and like a lot of the games that Sega brought out as new ideas on either the Saturn or the Dreamcast are beloved fan favorites because they took risks and they applied talent to those risks, and that's a formula for success. Give people something new that they don't realize they want and do it really well. Like, maybe you're not going to sell as much as you would if you just kept farting out the same 3 franchises over and over again, but people will want to talk about what you did. It'll have like more of an emotional resonance with them once they know about it. And I think that drives a lot of underdog fandom in the first place. Seaman is a great example. Yeah, absolutely. It's crazy to me when I think about the Dreamcast in particular, and if you look at sort of post-Dreamcast, if you look at once the Dreamcast was dead, what's the game that that hung around the longest? And not the series, but like the game that hung around the longest and had the most distribution? It's probably Crazy Taxi. Crazy Taxi was on everything. It was on GameCube. It was on PlayStation 2. It was in the arcades. I don't remember if Crazy Taxi 1 was on the Xbox. I don't think it is, but they put Crazy Taxi 3 as an exclusive Xbox game. It's been ported to Steam. It's been on the Dreamcast collection that Sega's put out 2 or 3 times. Like, in terms of just, like, exposure, Crazy Taxi is probably the most significant first-party Sega release for the Dreamcast. Because it got put everywhere. They kept pushing Crazy Taxi.
Blue, 23.
I don't remember how I got to this point. I know the dots. I don't know how I connected them, but all this is to say that, like, I understand the thought process that went into the 32X, even if it was misguided. And I would have loved for there to have been more games.
42.
I don't necessarily agree that if you just take all these people that were working on 32X games and put them on the Saturn instead, that you were going to get like a one-to-one improvement. Like, it's just going to make the Saturn library better. It's going to make the Saturn system more successful. I kind of doubt that. Just because I don't feel like the 32X is the reason why the Saturn failed. I know a lot of people point to like console fatigue and talk about, you know, Sega burning out their core customer base on hardware purchases. That's true, but I don't think that's why. If you took away the Sega CD and the 32X, I still don't think the Saturn does better than number 3 in the West. in America. I can't speak to Europe. I can't speak to Japan. I think that it wouldn't have been able to climb over the PlayStation just being that big of a success, and you know, Nintendo having as built-in of a fan base and a loyal customer base. Like, people would have bought an N64 sight unseen because it was Nintendo, and had fallen into the same circumstances again. Like, everyone who's like, oh yeah, I bought an N64, there wasn't anything cool on it, I wanted a PlayStation instead. That would have happened again, that's fine. But I don't think that enough people would have been like, I haven't bought a Sega in 5 years, so I gotta get the newest Sega no matter what. Seeing what PlayStation was doing when they were doing it, it just seems like it probably wouldn't have made... I mean, it would have helped them. They probably would have sold more, but I don't think it would have gotten them into a place where, like, the Saturn had 700 North American releases or whatever. And in my opinion, more game is always good. So, if there had been more Atari Lynx games, and more Atari 5200 games, and more Philips CDI games, and more Tiger R-Zone games, like, then I'm happier. It doesn't really matter, like, what I had. I wanted it all. I still do. Just give me more. Give me more choices to make. Give me more cool shit to find. And I'm happier. I do. I absolutely want more Virtual Boy games. I mean, hell, I'm only 2 games away from a full North American Virtual Boy library. No, 3. 3 games away. I'd love to be, like, 43 games away. That'd be sick. We could have had Nestor's Funky Bowling too. I'm missing I think the 3 most expensive ones. I'm missing 3D Tetris, Waterworld, and Jack Bros. I did not get in on... I got in pretty early on Virtual Boy collecting, comparatively speaking, but those were out of my financial reach then, and they remain so now. The Wario game is... I don't think it's too rare. Like, it's kind of sought after, but I think among Virtual Boy games, it's probably one of the easier ones to find. So the price isn't, like, unreasonable. Found a sealed Mario Clash at half-price books. Hell yeah. I'm missing a lot more Japanese games for the VB, but...
Green, 42.
It'd be cool to see a lot of the games that were in development actually come out in some form or fashion, too. Like, there's a lot of stuff we probably don't know was being made for the Virtual Boy, and there's a lot of stuff that we do know that it's like, damn, I want to play an F-Zero spin-off for the Virtual Boy. I want to play a Power Rangers game and a GoldenEye car driving game and Mario Cruise and Dragon Hopper and... Like, it's crazy that we've gotten any prototypes for the Virtual Boy, and it's sick. But, like I said, more is better. Having more to choose from is just... It's just better. I think some people are like, get the shovelware, get the chaff out of here. I don't want to sift through it all. And I'm like, but there could be something really cool in there. I want to sift through it. I'm a crate digger. I used to love going to, like, Media Play and Hastings and just spending hours and hours there looking for like something cool that I didn't expect to find that I had to leave with that day.
Touchdown.
Whether it's a movie or a book or a... I used to go to Media Play when I was a kid, and I would go through all of the CDs just to find funny band names. I just like looking. I just like browsing. It's fun. Sifting, yeah. No intention of buying any of those albums. I was just like, what bands have funny names?
Set. Hut.
Yeah, I used to live very close to a Hastings, and I went there quite often. I would like get out of work. I'd get out of work at like 10:30 or 11 o'clock. I think 10 o'clock. And I'd walk home, and Hastings would be one of the only, like, Hastings and Walgreens and Walmart were still open. So, like, if I didn't want to go straight home, I could stop in at Hastings and, like, hang out there for an hour looking at stuff, and then maybe get a game or something and go home. It was nice. I miss it. Now our Hastings is a grocery store. It's a Sprouts. And Sprouts is pretty cool. They have parsnips. They're where I get my parsnips from. But I can't get like a They Might Be Giants CD there, so that kind of sucks.
Incomplete.
I don't think they have giant parsnips. I think they're... I don't know enough about parsnips, but I feel like the parsnips at Sprouts are regular sized parsnips. They seem reasonably sized.
Set.
Nothing about them suggests that they are abnormally large in some way.
Red. 20. Hut. Incomplete.
I don't feel that way because I don't like licorice and I like parsnips, so I would probably disagree. They are a bit sweeter than a carrot, I think. But I don't know that I would say that it's a licorice type flavor. Maybe it is. Maybe I've been fooled into liking licorice through parsnips.
Hut. Back.